Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com. When all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.
Welcome on in and a happy Monday to you here. A happy $9 Monday, of course, here on WagerTalk TV. We also have a Sports Memo, our sister site over there that you can check out and get your $9 plays as well. If you haven't figured out by now from either the hair or the voice or the background, I'm not Joe Raineri, and I apologize for that. I am Dan Alexander, and I'm going to be your host today. I'm filling in the big shoes of Joe today as for lack of a better term, he's thawing his ass out. He was checking out the Jets and Bills game, and as a Florida guy through and through, he needs a little bit of respite. But he will be back tomorrow, and don't worry, even though I'm here at the head of the ship, we still got a full dais of experts with me, and we still have plenty of games and actionable info to get you today. There they are. We got Andy Lang, the prop master. We got the debonair Teddy Covers and the always on Brian Power joining me today. So, Andy, I'm going to start with you. I know that you had a hell of a week last week, but the books also had a hell of a week taking your action. How was the weekend for you, brother? And what do you have rocking today for $9 Monday?
It was a really successful weekend. Cashed yet another 5% NFL play. That's a 16-4 run on NFL 5% play. So they just keep hitting, and we have another one up for tonight on WagerTalk.com. We had a really nice UFC night, and we have a 5% play up for UFC. You really want to get the 5% UFC play. That's for this Saturday, but it's only $9. So I know it's an NBA show, but I know what I'm running well in. Despite going 3-0 in NBA last night, the last couple weeks have kind of been wishy-washy, kind of breaking even throughout the last couple weeks. But the 5% NFL play, UFC 5% play, both of them $9. Take advantage of that at WagerTalk.com. But looking forward to cashing in. We got a really, really good bettable card for props. So looking forward to talking basketball with everyone.
And we'll be getting into that right around the way after we welcome in as well Teddy Covers. And I'm doing a little Teddy Covers impression with the look here today. Teddy, happy to be on air here with you, my guy. How was your weekend? And you got anything locked and loaded here for $9 Monday out of the gate?
Well, I'm telling you, the blazer and the T-shirt look, dude, it works. For a bettor, it works very well when you're trying to clean yourself up. It's worked for me for years, and I will continue to use this approach for how I'm going to be attired on these shows. The NBA has been great. I mean, I have no complaints whatsoever with December so far. I think I'm hitting 71% for the month in December betting NBA, dating all the way back to last February. The NBA's at better than 64%. I have a pair of NBA selections available for this evening and for $9 Monday. However, if you watch the show, I'll give you both before the show's done. So don't go buy them. You get them here for free.
Look at that. I mean, gracious as always. Teddy giving them away for free. All you got to do is ride with us for the next 20, 30 minutes or so. I think that's a pretty good deal. Brian Power rounds out the dais here today. You can find him on Twitter at @BrianPower_wins. And Brian, were you winning over the weekend? And do you have a play locked and loaded right out of the gate here on a Monday?
Yeah, Sunday was great. 6-2 in the NFL. It was our biggest card of the year. Delivered. Was happy to do that. 6-1. I didn't have a 5% play over the weekend, but I had 7 4% plays. Won 6 of them, so feeling good about that. Have a 4% play in the NBA tonight. Here it was. I thought I was being the gracious one on the program because I was going to give that at the end of the show as well. But I guess it just must be that kind of. It's that season as I will be joining, as Teddy has the same idea. So yeah, end of the show. my best bet is my 4% play for tonight. Have a couple college as well. Not pushing with the Monday Night Football game. Sunday night's been great for us this year. Now 7-1, but no play on Monday Night Football tonight. But 3 hoops plays ready to go for tonight.
Well, Brian, not to put any pressure on you, but Teddy did say he's giving away 2 free plays to the folks there. So I'm just saying, not to be outdone, but we don't got to give away the whole kit and caboodle here to start off. So, guys, why don't we get into it? Start with some of these games and start how we always like to. That's at the altar of the contrarian gods. And after consulting the Oracle, I have been told it's the Hawks and the Grizzlies game that we're looking at, and the contrarian angle is the Hawks getting the 9.5. Guys, it looks even more contrarian when you know that DeJounte Murray will not be in the lineup for the Hawks. They're looking to end a 6-game winning streak. Teddy, I'm going to throw it back to my Blazered brother. What are you thinking in this game? And I know you definitely have some thoughts you might be getting into a little later as well, but I'll let you bat lead off here.
Sure. I mean, Atlanta's a one-way team for me right now. If I'm involved in a Hawks game, I'm betting against the Hawks. And I know that they won yesterday on a wild, if you watch that game, and I had to take it on the Bulls plus the points in that one, stress and a half. Nonetheless, Atlanta winning, celebrating like they won a championship with 0.5 seconds left in overtime, getting the game-winning bucket. I'm not convinced that fixes the chemistry problems that are real in Atlanta right now. They're on the second of back-to-backs. They're coming off a victory. And this is a team that clearly has chemistry issue, clearly has personnel issues right now. And they're going up against a Grizzlies team that's been dominant at home. They won their last 5, 7 of the last 8, all by 8 points or more. This is a Memphis team that got punked twice by Atlanta last year. They lost by 15 and 32 in those meetings. This time around, they're rested. They're ready. They've been off since Friday while Atlanta played in overtime last night. Lots of money on Memphis today. I don't disagree with that. It's Grizzlies are pass for this. No contrarian god for me.
No contrarian god for our guy Teddy Covers, so he's not going as far as flipping the double birds, probably for the best. Andy, what are you thinking? I know, obviously, the thoughts on the contrarian gods and how they're viewing this game, but you mentioned you have a lot to like with this prop slate. Is this game withstanding, or is there some angles that you're liking in this one too?
Well, Teddy might be chuckling because of all the games that I like and the props I like. This one has no props because we're waiting on injury report. So we happen to pick a game with no props out. I believe Dylan Brooks is the only one. However, we cashed on this one last night, and this one just keeps cashing night after night after night. If Trae Young plays, take under 2.5 made 3-pointers for Trae Young. His under is now on a 17-2 run. So just Trae Young under his 3-pointers. He lands on 2. Even in overtime, he still only had 2 made 3-pointers. So even though it was a little bit sweaty, it just keeps cashing every single night. So go ahead and take Trae Young if he plays. Since I don't have any other props on this one, I'm just going to give out a random prop from another game that jumped off the screen because I like giving out content. My Pacers, coming off one of the most embarrassing, horrific losses in NBA history, Benedict Mathurin, who is very impressive, is getting way too much respect from the books. They have his points total at 16.5 points. Way too much respect. He's only gone over this total one time in the last 6 games. This is a bench player. He's still coming off the bench, and he's shooting 12.5% from 3-pointers this month. The shooting has not been very good. He's still coming off of the bench, and he's not getting anywhere near this 17-point total recently. So while I don't have any props yet available in the Hawks and Grizzlies, take a look at Mathurin, who's got a very, very bright future. But right now, he is an underplay, especially at this 16.5-point total.
Man, that's bold. Andy not only saying, forget the contrarian god, he says, forget that game. If they give me no info on it, I'll just give you info however I want to throw it out. Love to see it, Andy. That's a man of the people at Bump Sports on Twitter. Brian Power, you get the final word on this game. So one person staying away from the game until we have props. The other saying the contrarian gods might have been imbibing a little bit over the weekend. How are you going to be betting this one?
Well, look, I don't know if I have the cachet built up yet to just go rogue and just say whatever I want, but like Teddy, I am going to go against the contrarian gods here because
Ooh.
for a lot of the same reasons he mentioned. The Hawks, okay, they win last night in overtime on the buzzer beater, like we talked about. They were up at half, but they only outscored the Bulls in one of the four quarters in regulation. The Bulls also shoot just 25.9% from three last night. I don't think Atlanta could benefit from that kind of poor shooting from the opponent again. Grizzlies, as Teddy mentioned, they've won and covered 5 straight. Overall, 4 of those as favorites. They were minus 8.5 against OKC, minus 10.5 against Detroit. People may be out there thinking, does Atlanta deserve to be in the same price range as those teams? Well, under Nate McMillan, the Hawks are 7-11 against the number in the second night of a back-to-back, and just 10-25 as a road dog. And Memphis, the home cooking, like Teddy talked about, 9-3 against the number this year, 7-3 when favored. There's too many key players with question marks next to their names, Dan, for me to officially get for this to make my card. But it is Grizzlies or pass for me in this game.
So the 9.5, just not sweet enough for any of our guys on the panel here today. Hop in the comments, let us know what you think. The contrarian gods, I don't know. I guess if Atlanta somehow does pull off some magic, I think Joe Raineri has his open on the show tomorrow. So, guys, let's swing around to our featured game here today and talk this Celtics and Clippers game. This is the nightcap. I think an exciting one to look forward to. We're seeing Boston 4.5-point favorites as they're looking to get that bad taste out of their mouth. They lost Saturday to the Warriors in that final rematch that is about as hype as you can get for a NBA regular season game. However, it's the first time they're going to be seeing the Clippers this year, first in their LA back-to-back as well. So, Andy, I'm going to throw it your way because I did see an injury report for this one. And Al Horford, maybe one of the more notable things is that he's still in health and safety protocols. So I say somewhat tongue-in-cheek, Blake Griffin should be seeing some time. Do we just blindly go Blake Griffin overs and call it a Blake Griffin revenge game? That's not maybe the most profitable handicapping style. What are you thinking for the props in this one, Andy?
Number one prop is Blake Griffin over 7.5 points. Dan, you are absolutely correct. Correct. Yeah. No, Al Horford. I don't know if it's a big revenge spot. I don't know if Blake Griffin is there. It's been a little bit. I'm sure he wants to play well, but the fact is he's gone for 13, 9, 13, and 9 the last 4 games. He's 4 of 6 from threes. His last 3 games, he's playing more games than I'm sure he's used to this season because they've been implementing the strategy of playing him once a week. But he's kind of in the zone a little bit, and he's going to get minutes. It's a rotation, especially at bigs, without Al Horford in there, and to need him to be in there against Zubac and Morris and some of these guys. So he's going to get minutes, and he's going to get opportunities. And he's shooting 70.6% from the field this month. So it's a shorter sample size, but when you have an opportunity like this and he's getting the minutes, he's rested, so he hasn't played since Saturday. He should be good to go. Maybe we get a little bit extra motivation from him from the Clippers, but I'm not even putting that into my handicapping. I just like the way he's shooting the ball right now, and I like the minutes that he's going to get. This is a pretty low number. I'm also going to go Kawhi Leonard under his point total. Some books have it at 17.5, and that's the one I'm looking at. He hasn't gone over this total in any games this season for Kawhi Leonard. 13, 14, and 16 the last 3 games. He's actually finally starting to play a little bit, but you're always one little Kawhi Leonard ankle tweak away from him sitting the rest of the game. This is a really good defensive game. Leonard just does not look like he's in the elite shape that he has been in years past, and this is a really, really tough matchup for him. The Boston Celtics have good defenders just about everywhere. So he's shooting 15, and 13 field goal attempts, but he's just not making too many of them. 21% from threes, 37% from the field overall in his last 3 games. So I think they got this number a little bit high. I don't see where the success comes from Kawhi. So give me Blake Griffin over and Kawhi Leonard under, which is a a phrase that sounds very, very strange in the prop betting world over the last couple of years.
In 2022.
And Kawhi
Yeah.
under. Oh
in
my God.
2022 especially. Yeah. And
yeah,
hey,
unbelievable.
I'm just glad that you came with the stats that could back up my square as hell hashtag Blake Griffin revenge game. Now I at least have some better feel on maybe playing some of those overs. That's Andy Lang. You can find him wt.buzz/AL. Brian, you'll get the next word on this one. Boston, sure, they dropped that one on Saturday, but 8 of its last 10, go a little bit further, 17 of their last 20. So do they just get right back into form, or is there maybe a little hangover? What are you thinking, BP?
Well, this is awkward because I was going to first apologize for infringing on Andy Lang's territory of going to the prop market for this game. And even more awkwardly, I actually like Kawhi Leonard over 17.5 in this one. Maybe this pleases the contrarian gods because, as Andy mentioned, in the 3 games since returning, he's not gone over this number, 16, 14, and 13. Andy did mention how he's not hitting his shots, just 37.2% overall. He's missed 11 of 14 3-point attempts. And, there's been a bit of a minutes restriction. He hasn't played more than 30, but I think the Clippers are going to lean more heavily on him because Paul George played 41 minutes 2 nights ago in the game against Washington. And the Clippers' last 2 opponents also, in terms of tempo, a little slower pace. The Celtics, middle of the pack in that regard. And the one area where Boston isn't great at defending is mid-range jumpers, which is where Leonard typically does a lot of damage. And plus, as you mentioned, Al Horford is out. Leonard can attack the rim more. I think this isn't asking for much. I know he hasn't done it since being back, but I do like Kawhi Leonard over 17.5 points in this game. And the good news is one of us will be right.
Got a little head-to-head action here going. Andy Lang, Brian Power, Teddy. Please don't tell me that you like Kawhi Leonard to push his PRA total. What do you have in this game? Are you going over, under? You have something on the side, or any thoughts on what the rest of the panel was thinking, Teddy?
Yeah, you guys aren't going to like me. I'll tell you that flat out. Although there's no push. That's the advantage of the totals. We're talking about the hooks.
You're right.
16.5 or 17.5. So you won't push. You'll either get a winner or a loser with Kawhi Leonard over the total. I have no idea what to do with this game, flat out. Don't love this spot here for the Celtics. I know the Celtics have been great coming off a loss this season. I think they've lost, 5? They've lost 5 previous times. They've gone 4-1 straight up and against the spread in those games. And the back-to-back losses came back in October. I mean, any recent loss they've had, they've bounced back really, really well in recent weeks. But now we're talking about game 5 of a long West Coast swing. They got the second of back-to-backs against the Lakers tomorrow. I'm not convinced we get Boston's best game. I'm really not. And we saw from a defensive standpoint, when they're not playing their best game, they can get lit up. And Golden State did it pretty well the other night. I think there's some fatigue in Boston right now, and that is a team that has done so well in early season play. I can't say there's value on the Celtics right now. There isn't. That being said, never love a team coming back off an East Coast swing. First game home, stepping up in class. And what happened on that East Coast swing? They won the last game, takes the pressure off. Who they beat? They beat the slumping Wizards and the slumping Hornets. Those are the 2 wins they've had. In fact, there's only 2 wins they have since the Thanksgiving weekend. All right, they're not clicking on all cylinders. It's not a Clippers in mid-season form type of team, not even close. And when I try to make a case for an under here, all of a sudden you see the Clips have gone over 4 straight and 6 of the last 7. Nope. And the defense isn't what they want it to be, even though their pace is slow. Put it all together. Yeah, I'm going to wait the white flag on this one. El Paso for me. I have no idea what to do, side or total.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Teddy. The second that you said East Coast swing, I've just been hearing like Boys to Men in my head, doing a little East Coast swing. So I honestly, I didn't even hear the rest of what you were thinking. So it sounded like a pass from my guy, Teddy Covers. And we have some props. 2 guys different on the Kawhi Leonard. We can all get down on a squad ride for our guy, Blake Griffin. In the hashtag Blake Griffin revenge game with Al Horford out. Guys, let's do a little overtime, talk a little Timberwolves and Blazers as we got these 2 teams who they just played 2 days ago. We saw, 242 points in a 6-point win for the Blazers. We've seen a little market support towards the under. See it there ticking down slightly to 22 or 229.5, excuse me. Any thoughts on this total or the side for you, Brian, we'll kick it off and get your thoughts on our overtime game today, the Wolves and the Blazers.
Yeah, I've actually got thoughts on both total and side. I'll save the thoughts on the
Nice.
side for the dog segment. But in terms of the total, you mentioned, Dan, 242 total points scored Saturday. Both teams shot very well. Minnesota 54%, Portland 52%. The key for Portland, they made 3 more three-pointers. They did a better job at the free throw line. They were 25 of 28 as opposed to 18 of 24. That's more makes than T-Wolves attempts. Lillard by himself, 15 of 15 from the charity strip. I just don't see the team shooting that well again tonight. Lillard probably in store for some regression. He scored 76 points the last 2 games. He had a season high 9 threes against Denver 2 games ago. And I think when I was on the show Friday, we talked about a Minnesota total, and I mentioned this trend about when the total's 230 or higher for them. It's now 9-5 to the under, and this is just the 3rd time that a Portland game has had it to, well, I guess now it's dropped down to 229.5, so throw away this trend, but I'll just still finish it off anyway. It was going to be only the 3rd time Portland had a total of 230 or higher, so I don't see the team shooting as well. This is going to be a lower scoring game, and I lean towards the under.
Looking towards the under in overtime, WT.buzz/BP. You can get Brian Powers' $9 play right this moment. And all the guys on the show, check him out for $9 Monday. Teddy, I'll swing it your way. Thoughts on the total in this one? Or do you have a little bit more vibe on the side? What does Teddy Covers think?
Yeah, the leading indicator books are down to 229.5 on this ballgame. You can still find 230s. They're widely available.
Okay.
Just about everywhere. I would not argue with anyone. Look, this one, I'm going to keep this as short and simple as I can do. All right. Portland ranks number 24 in pace. They do not push pace. They're not trying to push pace. All right. They're coming off a game in which they shot extremely well. But when I see a team that's number 24 in pace and a total that's sitting at 230, I ain't playing it over. All right. I know the last meeting went over. As you mentioned earlier, both teams shot lights out. I'm not convinced the shootings will be as well. They'll shoot as well tonight. And the pace isn't going to be frenetic. Take the under. 230. Find that 230. There are plenty of 230s out there. No reason to settle for a 229.5.
Short, sweet, to the point, and the use of the word frenetic. That's well done out of Teddy Covers there. Andy, you'll get the last thought on this one. And I was able to read your mind when we were talking about the Clippers game. What are we doing? Are we looking at Gobert? He's been rebounding machine, 14.3 rebounds over the last 3 games. That number getting a little rich for your taste, or you have something else maybe you're eyeing?
Yeah, you had an uphill battle trying to get to a Justice Winslow prop on this one. This is so. Listen, I was keeping my eye on this Portland Trail Blazers team. What happens when Lillard comes back? Who's going to suffer the most? And really hasn't been Simons. Really hasn't been Grant. It has been Justice Winslow. His point total is down to 5.5, and I'm taking the under. He is the odd man out now. Last 4 games, 2 points, 4 points, 4 points, and 2 points. He is 5 of 15 from the field the last 4 games. That's right. He only has 15 field goal attempts the last 4 games, only 2 free throw attempts the last 4 games. And with Lillard, Grant, and Simons, they are just taking all of the shots. So Winslow has been the odd man out for sure in this one. So it's a low total, but he's not getting opportunity. He's just back to the bench role where he's playing limited minutes. So take Winslow under. And then I kind of lean the Timberwolves over 113.5 on their team total. I really wanted to try and get to the window with D'Angelo Russell over his points. The guy has been shooting great since Towns went out. 27, 28, 30, and 24 his last 4 games. My problem is D'Angelo Russell is not consistent. This is easily his best points scoring stretch of the season. And I just don't think it continues, and I don't want to be the one to catch a falling knife. That being said, I really like what I've seen from him. He's shooting the ball pretty consistently. Anthony Edwards has been really good. He had a bad shooting night against Utah, but 26 points in a row in 3 out of 4 games, 29 the 2 games before. So I think Towns has kind of left open a little bit of hole that guys seem to be filling in quite nicely. They easily went over this total against Portland. They've gone over this total in 6 out of 7, including 4 straight without Karl Anthony Towns. So give me the Timberwolves over their team total at 113. I think it's a couple points too low.
So there you go. You got some props. You have some actionable info for 3 great games on the slate tonight. Hop in the comments and let us know. You agree, you disagree, you have anything you locked in already? We'd love to hear it. You know what I'd love to hear? I don't know. Is there an Amazon guy at Brian's door? Because I think I hear some dogs barking, baby. It's time for That's My Dog, Robert.
That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. And anybody got to say anything, you let me know. That's my dog.
Yes, that's right, Brian. Anything said in the pre-show meeting can and will be used against you on the air here. We got some nice, juicy dogs on the slate here. Indiana, Washington, Atlanta, San Antonio, Oklahoma City, Minnesota, and the L.A. Clippers. Some of them we've already spoken on here today. Teddy, I'm going to throw it back your way. Any of those plus money players or plus point spread plays standing out to you here for your dog today?
Well, on October 22nd, that was the second game of the season. Dallas blew out Memphis. They won by 39 points as 5.5-point favorites. Since that time, since October 22nd, Dallas has been -4 or higher 14 times. They've covered 1 point spread out of those 14 tries. OKC's my dog. End of write-up.
Nice and easy, strong from Teddy Covers. Andy, you get the next crack. We're looking at OKC for my man TC. What are you thinking, Andy? Anything sticking out to you on that big green board there?
Yeah, but That's My Dog and contrarian plays, I've had some success playing the ones that just make no sense. So let's do it again. Wizards +6 at home against the Nets. Listen, Wizards have lost 9 out of 10, including 6 straight. Their one win was when they actually had Bradley Beal playing. They won't have him tonight. Their last 2 home games, they lost by 7 to the Clippers and 11 to the Lakers. Nets are very well rested. Their starters haven't played since Friday. The Nets have won 7 out of 8, and they are 2-0 against the Wizards this year. So we just play the Nets, right? No, I'm going with the Wizards because it doesn't make any sense. The Nets main – listen, the only thing I can say is the main lineup of the Nets, they just don't really blow out a lot of teams. They won by 4 against Atlanta, 6 against Charlotte. They lost to Boston. They only beat Washington by 6 at home on November 30th. And Kuzma and Porzingis combined for 52 points in that game. Nobody expects the Wizards to play well tonight, including the Wizards season ticket holders. For whatever reason, expect a close game in a bizarre one. I think they cover tonight in a close game with very low attendance.
Man, I love it, Andy. You give out an under 5.5 point total. You give the Wizards +6 against the Nets. I mean, it's an antacid special every single segment from my guy Andy Lang. Go check out his $9 play. It's locked and loaded. He's doing terrific on these 5% plays. You don't want to miss out on this one. Brian, final dog of the day, and we're going to go back to a game we were just talking about. What are you looking at, Brian?
Yeah, well, first off, in regards to the dog and Amazon reference, I'm just glad somebody's listening. So no problem there. I like that. That was good stuff. But we're all tucked away. And hopefully someone was listening on Friday because you talk about terrible dogs. I gave out Orlando in this segment, and they won outright, which shocked even me that they were getting 9.5. I didn't think they'd win outright, but they did. I teased this a little bit, though, in the last segment. I'll keep this short and sweet. The dog for me is Minnesota. I expect more of the shooting regression that I talked about when highlighting the under to come from the Portland side. And another key here is Minnesota not on the second night of a back-to-back like they were on Saturday. So I am taking the points with the T-Wolves tonight in Portland in addition to looking at the under.
There we go, a full slate of dogs, and the guys selected their 3 favorites there. But the actionable info isn't done just yet. One more segment left on the show, and it's one of everybody's favorites. It's time for Best Bets. So, Robert, cue up that minute on the clock. Get the shot clock ready. We're going to be kicking off here with Andy Lang. Follow him on Twitter @BumpSports, and make sure you check out his selections loaded now at wt.buzz/AL. Andy, the floor is yours. Best bet time.
Well, we've got two 5% plays that are up on WagerTalk.com. One of them is a Monday Night Football play, 16-4 run on those 5% plays. Cashed one yesterday easily with Dan. The Eagles team total first half. Cash it. And then we have a 5% play up in UFC. I really, really encourage everyone to go get the UFC 5% play. It's only $9, and you're going to want to have a ticket on this play for this Saturday. So go get both of those. My best bet, I am going back to my Pacers, and I'm going to take the team total over 112.5, coming off of one of the most embarrassing losses in recent memory. They lost to Brooklyn's G League team. These are professional basketball players. They're going to be motivated to get that taste out of their mouth. Halliburton sat out on the 4th and the 5th of December, and the Pacers scored under this total in those games. In the 3 games since, they've scored 115, 121, and 133. They play with the second highest pace in the NBA. It's a little bit too low. Give me the Pacers team total over tonight.
And Andy, you can blame me for maybe not quite beating the clock there for Ric Flair wooing during the middle of your best bet. When you mentioned the Eagles, just be glad I didn't let out a Go Birds from the bottom of my soul. So yeah, great hit there, a play that we were both loving. So glad that you're continuing to hum on those 5%ers, man. You love to see it. Brian, we're going to throw it your way. You told the viewers right at the top that if they ride with us, they get a premium selection from you for free right here. And you got it for him. Best bet time, Brian Power.
Yep, and first bowl winner is also up as well right now. That just, of course, $9. So I'm looking at Miami tonight, gang. I think it's a buy low spot on the Heat. I faded them on Saturday. A very embarrassing loss to San Antonio. They were 12-point favorites coming to that game. The Spurs had won just once in their previous 12 games. Spurs at the bottom of everyone's power rankings, including mine. But I took the points, worked out, and now I think Miami is eager to bounce back. This is a short number on the road. Looking at the injury report, obviously the Heat have been banged up all year long. We all know that. But there's a lot more probables listed tonight, which is encouraging. And Andy touched on this. Indiana, sure, they could score. They could go over that team total tonight. But there's really no sugarcoating what happened to them on Saturday. Talk about embarrassing. Losing to the Nets, who are minus their top 7 scorers. They made 21 threes. They still lose. I don't see Indiana shooting that well tonight, not 55% overall. So I'm laying the points with the Heat, a superior defensive block.
Trying to beat them by a 3-pointer. We got the Heat laying it with our guy, Brian Power. Teddy, not to be outdone, he gives a premium play. You say, screw that. Wow, I almost got a little too pumped up. You said, forget that. I'm going to give out 2 here today. You got a best bet for the folks, Teddy. Floor is yours before I get myself canceled.
Sure. Now, I laid 8 with Memphis. All right. Even at 9.5, I wouldn't talk the other way. The injury report that is coming out for Atlanta isn't pretty. John Collins and DeJounte Murray already out. Bogdan Bogdanovic, he won't play tonight. He's been instant offense for them. He's been huge for them in recent games. He's not playing. We don't know if Trae Young, who has a bad back, and Young might suit up and then sit. This feels like a no-show game for Atlanta. Now, look, some teams in their no-show games come out and win. We just talked about Brooklyn and what they did against Indiana the other night. It can and does happen. I don't think it happens against Memphis. Memphis has been elite on this floor. And Memphis got punked twice by this Hawks team last year. They got blown out in both meetings. They were talking about it this year, which tells me they're interested. It's chalk worth laying. Grizzlies for this better, even at the premium price.
And didn't even need the extra 5 seconds. Laying it there. Let's do a little recap before we get the folks out of here for today. Andy Lang looking at Washington, his barking dog, and the best bet, that team total over for Indiana. Teddy covers Oklahoma City plus the spot, and then laying the spot with Memphis, the best bet. 2 premium plays from our man Teddy covers, and Brian Power rounded it out for us with Minnesota plus 4 for the dog, and he's laying it, and it's moved up a hair. Miami minus the 3.5, and the contrarian play that everybody said, I don't think so. Atlanta plus the 9.5 there. Hey, thanks for letting me crash the show. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you head on over to WagerTalk.com. It is, of course, $9 Monday. Alluded to that all show long. Each of our experts here have stuff locked and loaded. They've been hitting at a great rate. Don't miss out on it. No better deal unless we talk them into being the $2 Tuesday handicapper than getting the best bet for just $9. So head on over to Teddy Covers, Andy Lang, and Brian Powers' pages and check out the plays loaded now. For those aforementioned gentlemen, I'm Dan Alexander. Don't worry, Joe Raineri will be back tomorrow at the head of the ship. But until then, hopefully you're cashing tickets and hopefully you enjoyed the NBA tip-off show right here only on Wager Talk TV.
Let's finish off 2022 with a bang. First, we'd like to thank everyone as a record number of you took advantage of our Thanksgiving 7-day special. We hope you enjoyed the convenience of getting your favorite handicappers plays daily during the hectic holiday weekend. And we also know that December can be a frenzied month with the holidays and all the sports in play. In the spirit of the season and due to the success of the Thanksgiving special, we are now offering a rest of the calendar year special to get every NFL, college bowl game, NBA, NHL, or any other sport your favorite handicapper releases through December 31st for only $1.99. The early bird really does catch the worm for this special as it starts the day you sign up. No coupon is needed and you pay only $1.99 today or pay $1.99 in a few days. The choice is simple. Let's have a great ending to 2022.